Hi, I'm Mr. Harding, and I have the privilege of teaching your child's class this semester. I am inviting parents and students to watch this presentation together. There is information that will benefit all of you. Let me start by telling you a little bit about myself. This is my 25th year teaching, and my 15th right here at Mundelein High School.
I have been married for 24 years, and I have 4 daughters, including a set of twins. 2 of my girls are at Northern Illinois University. One has completed 2 years at CLC, and my youngest is a sophomore at Wakanda High School. I have also had the fun and privilege of being on stage a number of times in the past couple of years, including being a part of some musicals. In addition, I'm an avid reader. It is rare for me not to be reading. Over the past 4+ years, I have read in excess of 450 books and novels, including nearly 120 books on the topics surrounding education. These books cover a multitude of topics, especially regarding best practices in the classroom. During this presentation, you will probably see some things that might surprise you about my classroom, grading practices, and the like. I would like for you to know that all of the things that I try come from research. I am constantly looking for more material so that my classroom will continue to be on the cutting edge of 21st century education.
I would like to start by allowing you to see the arrangement in my classroom. As you will note, all of the desks are in either groups of 3s or groups of 4s. Much of the learning and teaching that goes on in this classroom happens in groups. Students are often asked and encouraged to discuss problems with members of their teams. Teamwork is a key element to success in the workplace, so I want to be sure that students learn how to effectively cooperate and function in a team setting. A lot of the instruction that happens in this classroom here follows the discovery methodology. What that means is that students are often presented some introductory material, and then they work with their team members to try to uncover a way of solving problems. Students will then share what they've discovered with both their team members as well as with the entire class. Together, we'll be trying to find a way for students to best comprehend this material. Creativity is welcome in our classroom. What matters the most is that students are able to clearly explain the reasons why they have arrived at an answer. There certainly is a time and a place for some direct instruction, though, as well.
This is the classroom most of you are familiar with, where the teacher lectures and the students take notes. Well, that does indeed happen in our classroom some of the time. The ways to take notes, though, has changed over the years, and I want you to know that I am open to what works best for your student. Maybe it's by using a laptop or even an iPad. And as foreign as it may seem to us in the older generation, well, how about this method? Since mathematics requires problem solving, which is often best done by hand, maybe a combination of these methods might be the best. One of the things that I am going to ask students to do this year on a regular basis is to keep a reflection log. I'm going to ask that students have a notepad with a flip top like the one you see here. In fact, I'm going to even provide one to ensure that each of your students has one. We'll be using this on a regular basis to reflect on what we have learned in class. I would like this to be a notebook that is separate from their other things, and that this is only going to be used in their math class. Now let me take the next couple of minutes to address the topic of homework. Does this look like your child when it comes time to deal with homework? I know that's what mine looks like at home. By the time she arrives home, homework is the last thing that she wants to do. I want to let you know that I do not assign daily homework. In fact, I do not require homework of any kind. My feeling about that is this. I get your child for 90 minutes a day. I should be able to get what I need from them in that time. We work from bell to bell every day, and I feel that the students get sufficient practice during that time. One other thing, I don't feel that it's my place to dictate how the kids are to spend their time when they're away from school. I mean, we get them for 8 hours a day. Isn't that enough? There is a time and a place for work to be done outside of class. I will come back and address that issue shortly. When I first tell students about the homework policy, of course, they rejoice. But then I ask them to think about how they will earn a grade in my class. Then the realization sets in. Their grade is solely based on quizzes and tests that happen inside of class. The quizzes in my class are called exit slips. I've been using standards-based grading now for the last couple of years. What that means is that the students are evaluated according to a list of standards that we call instructional objectives. Here are samples of what our instructional objectives at Mundelein look like for the Algebra 1 and Pre-Calculus class. These are the objectives that students are expected to master in this course. It is on each of these objectives that I will assign a grade. These objectives are first evaluated on quizzes called exit slips. They are split into 3 levels of types of questions: green, yellow, and red. Green level questions are questions that students should be able to go and immediately answer. These are intended to be the basic level questions, and students can earn 30% of the points on these types of questions. Yellow level questions are one of the students need to be cautious on. They require multiple steps typically to solve. Students earn 60% of their grade on these types of questions. The final types of questions are red level questions, and these are ones that students have never seen before. They're going to ask them to apply the knowledge that they've gained and solve a unique and new problem. These kinds of problems require students to stop and plan a strategy before attempting to answer. Students earn 10% of their grade on these types of questions. The other type of evaluation that takes place is common assessments. These are the tests that are given department-wide. There are 2 types of common assessments. The first kind is given twice during each term. These tests typically cover somewhere between 6 and 8 objectives. The second kind is the final exam for the term. This test is cumulative for all of the material that was presented during the term. Grades are based on 2 things: instructional objectives and common assessments. Instructional objectives make up 65% of the grade for the term and can change at any time during the term. This portion of the grade is based on classwork, exit slips, and item analysis done on the common assessment. The grade for each instructional objective can go up or down. You can chart the progress of each of these IO grades by clicking on that grade in the gradebook and looking at the comment column. Look at this sample here to see what I mean. The overall grade that you earn on the common assessment is final and cannot change. However, the common assessment can affect your other IO grades. If at any time you are dissatisfied with your grade on any instructional objective, you have the opportunity to reassess that item. You can reassess any and all IOs from each term as many times as you'd like. Students must first show that they have prepared themselves enough to be ready for such a reassessment. You must obtain a reassessment ticket from the classroom, like the one shown here, and do one of the items on it to show that you are ready to be reevaluated. Please understand that the majority of reassessing will need to take place outside of class time. Here's one big thing that students need to know about grades. If an IO is assessed and they perform better than they did previously, their IO grade will immediately change to that grade. In addition, if an IO is reassessed and their score is lower than on a previous assessment, then their IO grade may go down. Please look at this sample of scores to get an idea of how this works. All students do learn at different speeds. The idea of the course is mastery of the material. I want students to be rewarded when they finally master the material. Here's where I would like to come back to the idea of homework. While I do not require any work to be done outside of class, students may feel the need to do some work outside of class. They may want to check to see if they really did understand the topic we covered that day. They may feel that they could use some additional practice on problems, or they may need to do some problems to prepare for a reassessment. They are, of course, welcome to do these at any time that they'd like. At the beginning of each section of IOs covered by the next common assessment, each student is given a sheet like the one that you see here. On it, each of the IOs that they will be responsible for are listed, as well as where they can find some additional practice problems from the textbook. If they do all of these problems on the page and are still looking for more, I would gladly write additional problems for them to work on. If you find that you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. I would ask that your first effort at communication be with me through email. Please note my email address right there on the bottom of the screen. It will be the most efficient, and it will get you the quickest response. If we do need to talk, then we can either set up a phone conversation or a personal conference to do so.
Well, I hope this presentation has given you a little overview of what you can expect in my classroom this semester. I am really looking forward to the chance to work with all of you, both parents and students. Thanks for taking the time to view this video. Please be sure to fill out the paper that I gave to your students indicating that you watched this video and whether you watched it together. I hope we all have a great semester. Thank you.